Well, you wrote a memoir, a very revealing memoir called Face It.
Yeah.
What's the most difficult thing you've had to face?
I don't know. It's been different things at different times. I guess, just finding out who you really are. That's a hard thing.
Well, I'm thinking you had at least one occasion in which a boyfriend harassed you and stalked you. That had to be difficult.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, these are not... I think, when I think about the things that I put in that book, and it's like the perils of Pauline or something. Pretty funny. But I didn't really mean it like that. I just tried to, draw an arc, so to speak.
Well, and you did draw an arc.
Mm-hmm.
And then later, you and your main man friend at the time were tied up in your own apartment and you were raped. I don't think that's an improper description of it. That had to be very difficult to get through and to come out the other side of, if indeed you ever did.
Yes. Well, I have a couple of real revelations about that, that saved me from, I guess, feeling particularly battered by it. And the first one was that I wasn't battered. I wasn't beaten. I was held at knife point. But it wasn't, I wasn't abused or beaten. And I think I wasn't humiliated to that extent. And the other thing that sort of got me through is, my boyfriend was very consoling. And, he stood with me and, said, well, could have been worse, and fortunately, I mean, that's one of the things that we shared was that this sort of dark sense of humor and we didn't dwell on humiliation. We sort of made fun of it. And I think that is something that, has helped all along for what, for better or for worse.
Well, at that time, you were with Chris Stein. You were with him for what, 12, 14 years?
About that, yeah.
And then the two of you parted ways.
Mm-hmm.
He married.
Yeah.
And the two of you remained good friends.
Mm-hmm.
How did the two of you do that?
I don't know. Maybe I don't know. We're old hippies. And I don't know, it just, it wasn't easy at all times, there was some bitterness here and there. But, we were involved in a very creative process. We had been used to working in an ensemble situation. It didn't happen overnight, but, I have tremendous feeling and respect and love for Chris. And I think that, we had, we came through a lot of tough times, and I don't know, maybe that didn't seem as tough as some of the other things that we went through.
True.
Yeah.
Well, it occurs to me in looking at you, you seem to be in terrific health, you look terrific. How did you avoid the old rock and roll story of not crashing and burning with drugs?
I don't know. I crashed and burned for a while and then decided that, I wanted to have my original, what would I call it? Constitution.
Self?
Yes. I really, I knew that it was there and I wanted to have it back. I can't really say that I've got it all back, but, I work at it.
What was the quote of yours where you said something about you pretty regularly feel like you're 25 years old?
I do. Is that crazy?
No, it doesn't strike me as crazy at all.
Oh, good.
I'd be remiss if I didn't talk about your movie experiences. And of course,
I can laugh.
You can laugh, but why do you laugh?
Because I love having a little bit of a movie career. I love it. But it gives me, I think about, people that I admire, great actresses, and I think, oh my God, what they've done and how they've done it. I'm just totally in awe.
When you were doing Hairspray, which has become a kind of cult movie of a sort, did you realize at the time it would become maybe one of the best-known movies of its period?
No, I had no way of knowing that. John Waters was certainly not considered one of the most acceptable directors in the world. He definitely was, had a good cult status and a good cult following, but he was very left of center and very, very much ahead of his time, with his transgender inclusions and references. But the message, in Hairspray and the endearing quality of it was unavoidable. And it was so timely, so precisely in the right place at the right time. I feel that applies to us as well. The right place at the right time.
So, as a result of Hairspray and some other movie appearances, do you consider yourself sort of punk rock's Marlene Dietrich?
Well, sure, I'd like to. I'd love to. My God. It's part of my inspiration, actually. The first song that I wrote was about blondes. It was called Platinum Blonde. And one of the lines is Marilyn and Jean, Jane, May, and Marlene. So she was in there, part of my reference.
Along with Jean Harlow and other well-known blondes.
Jane Mansfield, yeah.
Well, it strikes me that the reunion stage of Blondie has lasted longer than the band's heyday itself.
Yeah.
So, how's the reunion gone overall in the main?
Well, Chris and I are still working together. We have our original drummer, Clem Burke, and we tried, working with some of our original members, and that sort of didn't pan out for a lot of different reasons. They had moved on in their lives and weren't doing music anymore, and we just tried to keep rolling with it. And we were fortunate. One of the most important components in having a band is having the right manager. As I used to say with the Beatles, that Brian Epstein was the fifth Beatle, and it's totally accurate. It's so important to have that key figure in there.
Which raises the question: what's the future of the band?
Well, the immediate future is we're going to start revving up and writing some new music and recording, and I think we have some tour dates booked. We have some shows booked. So we've just been, carrying on doing the same thing. Creating new music was one of the fundamental aspects of putting the band back together for me and for Chris. And we've managed to do that. I'm very, very happy about that.
Managed to do it very, very well, I may say.
Thank you.